Everybody, my name is Alex Vidal. I am president of Related ISG International Realty, and I am coming to you live from Los Angeles, California. My goal for 2019 is to take Related ISG to brokerage to a level that the brokerage has never seen. And I have 4 meetings while I'm out here with guys that run some of the largest real estate and mortgage companies in the entire country, not just in California, in an effort to try to make the company bigger. And one of the 4 guys I'm meeting with while I'm out here is Albert Preciado. Albert, thank you so much for joining us. Albert is the CEO of the Mortgage Guys, and he's also CEO of Ambiance Realty, and he's also the CEO of Driven Enterprises, which is a huge entrepreneurial event with speakers like Albert and Patrick Bet-David and Brad Lee and Grant Cardone, etc. But we've been talking shop for like the last hour, part of what I wanted to do while I was out here, and I asked Albert to jump on Facebook with me. So here we go. And one last thing, today's episode brought to you by Related ISG International Realty. If you want to work with the broker that is connected to some of the biggest real estate players and business people in the country, call me, text me, DM me. But for the next 15 minutes, we're going to spend time here with Albert. You ready?
Yeah, ready.
All right, let's go. This guy has a hell of a story that you got to listen. So here we go. Albert, you painted houses as a kid. You've been incarcerated. You've been homeless. Okay, you're very proud of that because of where you are today. You've made millions. You've lost millions. You've been on one hell of a ride.
Yeah.
But here we are in your beautiful office, and you're crushing it. Tell us a little bit about your journey to how you got here today.
Well, I think every failure, every accomplishment is part of the process.
Sure.
So when I was 6 years old, I told my dad I want to work. Like I want to do something productive. And I always saw my dad work, like putting his white outfit, you know, like white shirt.
Yeah, the painter's outfit.
The painter's outfit, and he had like different colors of paint all over his clothing, and I used to think that was cool. So I used to think, hey, that's like he's like my hero. He's like so I asked my dad, what do you do? Like, why do you dress like that? And he said, well, I paint homes in Beverly Hills, and I had no idea what Beverly Hills was. We used to live in the ghetto, which was in LA. We had shootings, you know, there was drug dealings outside. So a few times we had to like duck because there was shootings and we had to go under the couch.
Wow.
So I started going with my dad, and this was at the age of 6. And my dad, and then we get there, and right away I noticed something different. As a kid, like you see things that are going on. So I see like these big homes. I see this red Ferrari. And that's the first time I saw the Ferrari, but among many other nice cars and everything. So I see these people are obviously living in a different world. So that just brought a lot of imagination to me.
Okay.
And that was kind of the start of me believing in that. And I remember one day one time I told my dad, "Why don't you drive a Ferrari?" And then he just kind of like smirked and said that's not for us. And I said, well, what do you mean it's not for us?
Okay.
And ever since then, I promised him, I told him, hey, well, I'm going to get this car. It's my dream car. I'm going to get it. And that's the whole reason why that's the main reason why I got it. But the owners of those homes used to always have conversations with me, and they used to like my drive because why are you working if you're 6? Why do you come with your dad? Mm-hmm. And they would give me free toys. They would give me video games. They would give me like fishes. Like they used to have fishes. I used to like fishes. And then they used to let me swim in their swimming pool because they used to think he's a cool kid that wants to work. So I would stay there after work and swim in like a $1 million mansion swimming pool. And I used to be like a favorite of the owners there. Sure. So that's how it all got started in the beginning.
Now this is not even on here, but you have a cool story about the key to the Ferrari.
Yeah.
Tell the audience about that.
Well, when I was 32, I put on my dream board a red Ferrari, and I put a Rolls Royce too. But I had the Ferrari is really what I wanted. Like that car till this day. It's an unreal feeling when you get on there, when you get on it and you hear the engine turn on. It motivates me every day. Like yesterday, I was having a bad day. Well, not a bad day, but I fell asleep. I was out with the family and it was great. But this morning, I woke up like a little bit like, you know what? I ate a bunch of ice cream last night, and
you were off.
Yeah, it was my off day with the family, so I didn't feel that good. And then I started thinking like, oh, this or that, and we have to do this for this office, this with this office. We have to deal with these type of people. And then I get in the car, and then I just turn it on, and then I feel like, man, I feel unstoppable again. Sure. So it always gives me that excitement and that adrenaline, and that's why I like it. And it was a dream that I had as a kid, but I made a goal to get it by 35 when I was 32, put it on my dream board, and I got the fake key from Amazon. This is one of my previous assistant was horrible.
Okay.
She only did one thing right in the 8 months that I had her.
She may not be watching. Hopefully she's not watching.
And that was getting that fake key from Amazon.
Got it.
So she got that fake key, and I put it in. I carried it with me. So I carried it with me.
And I saw it on your desk.
Yeah, that's the fake key. I carried it I put it on my keychain. I used to go to the gym and just made sure that I put it in next to the machine, so that guys and girls would walk by and then they would see damn, this guy's a baller. And I didn't really have the card. It was a fake key. Yeah. And when I would go to dinner or for lunch, I would put the key on the table just so people would see it. I would see it, and they would hold me accountable.
Sure.
And once I got the key, from the key, it didn't take me 3 years. It took me 2 months from when I got the
And
key.
how many Ferraris do you have now?
Well, I got in 3. I have 2.
Yeah, 2.
Yeah.
Cool.
I traded 1 in.
Now, one thing you're very public about is your morning routine.
Yeah.
And you've had a lot of ups and downs. He hasn't read the questions. He has no. I love it when they don't read and we go on the fly. Tell us a little bit about, because of your ups and downs, you had to develop a morning routine. What is your morning routine like?
Every morning I wake up from 3 to 5,
Okay.
and I do 5 hours of self-improvement every day. So every day,
Really?
5 hours.
5 hours?
5 hours.
Okay.
Sometimes more. And even when I'm on vacation, even when it doesn't change. And the way I do it is because when let's say if you shower twice a day, depending on if you add the shaving time, the toothbrush time, all that time, it could add up to an hour or so, or even toilet time.
Yeah.
So you could literally be 2 hours in the shower, in the toilet, and all that stuff. Yeah. So when I'm there, I'm listening to podcasts, I'm listening to video interviews, I'm studying past billionaires, past millionaires, and I'm getting all that. So I'm showering and I'm thinking. When I wake up, I read for about an hour to 2 hours. Yeah. So I read when I read a book, I read it, I highlight it, and then I take notes and I write those notes as I'm working out. So just in the morning, I usually do about 3+ hours of self-improvement.
What time do you go to bed?
8 to 10 p.m.
You go to bed between 8 and 10?
Yeah.
Wow.
So sometimes, special occasions, I'll stay up a little longer, but it has to be maybe there's a party or something like that. But I'm in bed by 10.
Oh man, my kids have soccer practice till 9 p.m. I wish I can go to bed that
I would probably just go home from there and just...
You go right to sleep. Yeah. Now, looking back on your 35 years of life, what was the single biggest thing you did in your life to get to where you are today?
Just have courage. Have courage and have that drive and commitment to never give up on my dreams.
Yeah, cool. Now, this is one thing I love about you, because everybody you listen to, all these big entrepreneurs or celebrity entrepreneurs are work hard, pay the price now so you can live later.
Yeah.
But you're the kind of guy that's like, no. Your actual saying is you don't believe in paying the price now to be able to play later. You want to be able to pay the price now and play at the same time. So how do you balance work and life while you're also running 4 companies?
I never worry or at all or focus on expenses. I put all my energy into creating.
Okay.
So I'm always on creating. There could be a ton of expenses coming in, and if I see a really big, a really big opportunity by taking this risk, I'll take it. So every time, whenever, for example, our company grows, and let's say we added a few $1,000s of income every month, I'll go out there and hire another person.
Yeah.
And so now I took that commitment. I committed to this person, but it's to grow the company. So I'm always growing, and then I take another risk, and then I keep growing, another risk, keep growing.
But what's the key to balancing that? Because you have a 2-year-old daughter, right? You have your wife, which is in the business, and one of my questions is about that in a second. How do you balance it? How are you not always in that work mode?
Well, I don't believe in balance. I believe in doing everything. So for example, right now we were in my other office, and I told you I have to get a lift for my daughter because she has to come to the office because our nanny has to leave because she had an emergency. So hey, I get the lift. She's, I think, getting dropped off right now, and we just bring her into the office, and she stays here, and everybody loves her here. She's also we want to get her exposed to life, to work, and we want to make sure that she understands the value of money, the value of work, and we take her everywhere.
So you're incorporating both.
Yeah. So my trips, if I have a trip, if I'm going to meet my mentor, or if I have a business trip, I just take him with me.
Sure.
I take him with me, and I make everything happen.
Okay. Now, you talk a lot about social medias, and you have gone all in on social media. How is social media, because I'm trying to get agents to understand what kind of an impact this is going to make on their business. How has social media helped your business, and what are some social media do's and don'ts?
Well, don'ts, for example, a lot of real estate agents, all they focus on is just listed, just sold, pending, mortgage people, great service, low rates, closing in 14 days, whatever. Like, you're supposed to do those things. And that's not going to get attention from your potential customer. So you have to figure out, like, what customer are you solving for? Like, are you solving for, are they Generation Z? Are they Generation X? Are they baby boomers? You have to find out who your target is. Okay. Once you figure that out, then you got to figure out what is going to attract them. So our main customers are millennials. What do they like? They like fancy cars. They like success. They like lifestyle. So if you post a little bit of work, but mostly things that connect emotionally, things that are personal, things that are real, things that interest them, you're going to catch their attention, and then you're going to catch their business. So social media is that's what works right now. And people that are used to the dinosaur age, it's not going to work anymore. It's not going to work anymore, and sooner than later they're going to end up out of business, or they're going to go work for you because you know how to market and they don't.
Sure. Well, and we're seeing that as a result of we were talking about it before. This show has put me in front of a lot of agents where we're looking at about 50 million in recruiting volume right now, just as a result of me doing this show. Now, talk to me about, it's funny because you, Grant Cardone, and some of the others have this thing about not owning the home you live in.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I do, because for me, my wife and I, we've been together 15 years. We've moved 13 times. Yeah. So we got tired of moving, and we said, screw it. We bought our house, and we have an acre and all that jazz for the boys to run around. But what's the theory behind not owning, buying and renting, or renting where you live and buying the investment property? Why not own where you live?
I can't live anywhere where I don't have a very nice view. So when I wake up, I like to wake up and have like a beautiful view where I could see movement, I could see a bunch of houses, I could see the ocean, I could see downtown LA, I could see everything. Okay. And I like being high. And I can't get that right now. I can't afford it. If I want to get a house like that, I'll get a house. But if I want a house like that, it's going to have to be a house for $100 million in Bel Air. Okay. And I can't afford a $100 million house yet. So when I could, I will, because I do believe in having a nice fancy house. Okay. I just can't get it now. So in order to get that same view and kind of the same lifestyle, I have to rent, because I'll pay about $20,000 in rent every month. But that's not going to get me the house that I want. That's going to get me like a smaller house down in the hill, and it's not going to get me what I want. So that's why I do that, and because I want to be able to move whenever I want to move. And let's say if next year I might move to a different state, and I want to have that freedom. So what I do is I buy just assets. I buy apartments that are going to get paid by the tenants, and they're going to give me a little bit of passive income every month, and they're just going to keep appreciating. So I bought a bunch of those, started buying them like 4 years and a half, like 4 years and 5 months ago. Okay. And then last year I sold most of them, which generated millions. And then I used that money to open more businesses and get more apartments that are bigger.
Got it. All right. So tie your money up in investment properties, not in where you live.
Yeah.
Lightning round. You believe in having mentors. So these are like one word, one sentence answers. You believe in having mentors. What's one thing you learned from Grant Cardone, one of your mentors?
Growing your army.
Grow your army. All right. One thing, and we interviewed Patrick Bet-David last week, or I interviewed him last week. And I know he's your actual direct mentor right now.
Grant and Patrick, by the way, are both my mentors. Both changed my life in different aspects. So a lot of respect for both of those guys.
And what did you learn from Patrick?
How to run a real business. How to run a real business. Because I'll share this with everybody really quick. I mean, you won't become a billionaire by owning real estate. I think you'll become a billionaire by building a company. So you have your Steve Jobs that built a company. You have your Mark Zuckerberg that built Facebook. You have Elon Musk, the creator of Amazon, Jeff Bezos. They created multi-billion-dollar companies, and they don't own any real estate. You know the real estate they own? What? $100 million homes paid off. Got it. They don't own a bunch of apartments, but they're worth 180. I think Jeff Bezos is worth about 130 billion because he built a company. So from Grant, I learned a lot about real estate investing, which is great. And I learned about you got to build your army. You have to be courageous to hire people to grow that army and to grow your business. And investing in real estate, which is one of the safest. I think it's the best. It's a business
Sure.
when you own real estate, multi-units, and I think it's the best investment. But from Patrick, I learned, hey, you know what? You got to grow this business. You got to find a way to build systems. You got to find a way to build a recruiting system where all your people are going to recruit more people, and your company is just going to scale. And one day, an investor's going to come down and he'll cut a check for billions of dollars for your company.
Okay.
So that's what I learned from Patrick.
Yeah, it's interesting because they both teach you different things,
Yeah.
right? Now, one daily thing our viewers can do to change their life for the better.
Self-improvement.
Focus a lot of time on
Get
self-improvement.
a mentor, yeah.
Get a mentor. Okay. One secret, because he works with his wife. One secret to working with your significant other.
You gotta just, we have different roles, so you gotta respect that. Like, I'm not gonna get into her roles. Like, if she wants to paint the house this color, if she wants to paint this wall, if she wants to get this furniture, get it.
Okay.
I don't care. But when it comes to money, when it comes to business, like, it's me. Like, if I tell her, hey, you know what, we gotta sell all of this, even though if she doesn't quite agree with it, let's do it. If I tell her we have to move here, we have to fly out here, it's done. There's no discussion. Yeah. But whenever it's things that she's in charge, I have to respect that, and that's why we don't clash, because she has her things, she has my things, and if we don't agree with it, we just got to go with whoever's in charge.
Of that. So you have delineated roles of who does what.
Yeah.
Got it. Now, favorite social media platform?
Instagram.
Okay. One piece, and let me explain this question. One piece of counterintuitive advice for our viewers, and let me explain. So I drive about 2,500 miles a month.
Yeah.
So everybody's like, you should go buy an electric vehicle. You should, have a Tesla or whatever.
Yeah.
And I went the complete opposite. I bought a Ford Raptor, which is a pickup truck I've always wanted. It wastes a ton of gas.
The same one that Bradley has.
Same exact one Brad has. Mine's white, his is black. And my tag, interestingly enough, you're talking about the motivation. My tag is LTFS, which stands for Life's Too Effing Short.
Yeah.
Okay. And I park my car backwards, so every time I walk out of my house, I see my tag. It reminds me to go out and get it. But I bought it because I drive so much. I want to be the biggest boy on the road. So God forbid if something happens, I'm protected.
Yeah.
Counter to everybody's like, oh, I almost look at it as insurance for my body.
Yeah.
Okay. So any piece of counterintuitive advice, which may not make sense at the surface level, but makes sense when you explain it.
I wasn't ready for the Ferrari when I got the Ferrari.
Okay.
So I should have gotten I should have kept my car that I had at the time. I had a Maserati, and I should have kept the Maserati, and I should have saved and been in a better position to get the Ferrari.
Okay.
But I said, you know what? Like I said, play now and pay now. Mm-hmm. So I said, I'm gonna get it. What's the worst thing that could happen? They'll repossess it. I mean, they repossessed cars from me in the past.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. And at least I'll know what it feels to drive a Ferrari, and I could just give it back in 3 months or 2 months. So I worried about getting it first, putting the down payment, getting the car, and making the first payment. So I knew I could do that. So I figured, what if I do what's working right now? What does Ty Lopez do? He markets with exotic cars, with exotic women, with houses, lifestyle, and he does something different. He doesn't have like a company, like a business like that. So I said, well, what if I do that in the mortgage industry? Nobody else is doing it. Nobody else is like a Latino younger dude doing Ferraris and that kind of stuff in the mortgage business, in the mortgage industry. So I said, let me get it, and then maybe I'll get more business from it. So I get the car. The car's costing me not even that much, but it's costing me $2,200 a month.
Okay.
Right? So you do the numbers. The first month, this agent, this realtor that never gave me business, never gave me mortgages, all of a sudden he wants to have lunch with me. He never wanted to have lunches with me. Now he wants to have lunches with me. He wants to treat me, and he wants to meet me because he wants to be around the Ferrari, sure, take pictures, and go on a spin. So he treats me for lunch. He gives me 3 deals the first month, which each deal averages $15,000 in commissions.
So for the car.
I made $45K the first month after I got the Ferrari. It paid off the car for the entire year, and still kept me another 15 grand. So now I have 15 grand. I have the car paid off for the year. Now it's just a pure marketing vehicle that I'm using to get more business and to promote myself, to give me credibility. So that was an asset instead of a liability.
Got it.
And now I get to enjoy my dream car.
That's awesome. I mean, 2 of them.
Yeah. I mean, that came later. Yeah. But that just helped me recruit people. It gave me more credibility. It raised my stock. It gave me... It was a blessing in disguise.
Sure.
And I went against what Grant advised, because he's like, don't get a car. But then I saw Ty Lopez, like, what is this? This guy's making a killing. by showcasing the lifestyle in his thing. So I said, why not use it for the mortgage business or the real estate business? Why not market? Why not be courageous? And I just did it, and it turned out pretty well for me.
When you couldn't afford it to start off.
I mean, I could have afforded, but most people would think, like, you know what, save that money for what if you have an emergency? What if your wife needs it? What if your daughter gets sick? I didn't have a daughter yet, but save it for, what if something else? You might save it. You should save it for other things, not a car. So I went against that belief, and it turned out pretty good. Now people are asking me for advice about marketing and what they should get.
Here, I just asked you. Last question. A book, podcast, or TED Talk recommendation for the audience.
I love Valuetainment.
Okay. With Patrick.
Patrick, yeah.
Yep.
And you said podcast?
Yeah, either, whatever. Book, podcast, TED Talk.
I love books that are about business, systems. So there's a really good book called Principles by Ray Dalio. That's like a Bible of how to run the business, how to create a business.
Got it. All right, there you go. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I have to run to a dinner now here in California. More meetings tomorrow before I fly back home. Albert, thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure.
This guy, we spent like an hour talking before this, and it was Miami, watch out. We got a lot of stuff coming. Albert, again, thank you so much. I'm going to pop around. Any parting words before we leave, Albert?
Just if you're driven, if you have the drive and the courage and the commitment, you could do anything.
There you go. All right, guys. See you later.